Into the Nexus is a production of amove.tv. Bookmark Amove TV for other great video games and esports podcasts. Into the Nexus is sponsored by listeners like you via patreon.com/ITN. Greetings and welcome back, everyone, to Into the Nexus, the podcast all about Heroes of the Storm. I'm Garrett Weinzierl, and I'm joined as always by Kyle Fergusson. How you doing, dude?
It's good to be back. I'm doing well. How are you, Garrett?
I'm doing great. I can't wait to talk about this clearly dead game.
Hey, whoa. we did revisit a big chunk of conversations. I really look forward to this particular episode because we are going to be reporting on the game. And it's in a live place. Though, of course, you know, with its changes, there is I have been climbing like mad, and you can say that is due to Diamond becoming a less skilled place. So I have a place in above Diamond again. And that's what it is, you know. If Plat's a perfectly legitimate place because Diamond's full of pros, like, yeah, sure, we'll be happy. But I'm more than happy to be climbing like mad at the moment.
Hey, you don't need to justify it. You're where you are. So you're back in Masters?
No, but making damn fast progress thanks to tanking. Tanking is the business right now. Nobody wants to do it, and nobody wants to be responsible. It's Johanna's and Anubarak's, Artanis, if we need that. But so many people like to play that solo game. You see that Sonya, you see that Ragnaros, and you just crank them to the extreme. You're like, yeah, that Ragnaros could join a team fight, but let's imagine he won't ever. Let's not increase the chances that my Artanis, is doing the same thing somewhere else.
Very fair. Very fair. I'm still on the Anubarak train. I don't see any reason to stop. I'm bullying Garrosh, Kyle. It's wonderful.
You still putting him in the cocoon?
I am.
Yeah,
or sometimes, you know what happens when you get a lead? Just chain stun the Garrosh until he's dead. Yeah.
Even Johanna with a 2-level deficit will die rather quickly, and you can target. But man, the tank or the support, there's very little reason in today's knowledge base. Really, focus fire is rough to come by. Everyone's kind of targeting their own thing. You are way better off cocooning the tank or the support, and then everyone kind of damages whatever they want, and then at some point someone's below half health and they go, oh, that guy, and they all go on it, and no tank or support to turn that around on you.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm enjoying a noob so much, is because I lead with a cocoon, and then wherever I burrow charge, everybody's eyes seem to go to that location, and a shot is called.
And you make a 4v4 if you have that fart off Sonya / Ragnaros somewhere else. And It's a healthy thing to have.
It's wonderful. It's just wonderful. It's
I'm a little nervous even because I have been in the special situation where I've been getting flown in for Grandmasters games.
Ooh.
Grandmaster playing with his maybe gold friend. Maybe he's just, got some diamonds and a Grandmaster, and it's like, we need to even this out somehow. We got to make a match. And so Plat 1 was the place to see Grandmaster play. And it was really cool to watch the display. And now that I'm getting the higher diamond, I'm like, oh, does that mean I get the broken matches now?
Yeah. I'm in a good place with heroes at the moment because heroes I like to play, heroes that I'm adept at playing, are doing very well. I mean, I cracked Hotslogs open the other day because I realized it had been like a week since I had checked it. I don't know why. My head's been in a million different places. You and I have been working on other stuff that isn't out yet. And I was like, oh man, I haven't looked at stats lately. What's going on? And I'm looking at heroes that are high up in the win rate that also have a decent amount of games played. And dude, it looks like my roster. It's wonderful. You got a Nubarak at third, just overall, like games played or not. He's definitely the highest up with a lot of games played. And you've got your Jaina, you've got Arthas, Raynor, going down the line, Kael'thas. It's my roster, dude. These are my heroes. Yeah. These are my people.
Jin, Artanis, they're all sitting right there looking really healthy. And Artanis is such a, that was last season project was Artanis for myself. This season is Phoenix, which, I'm getting better at slowly. Chain stuns are awful for poor Phoenix. You lose your whole cooldown on your warp, as you should. But man, does it suck when you're trying to learn how to play him. But Arthas is a great thing to have in your back pocket. Any Kerrigan, Greymane, even enemy Diablos to an extent. You see somebody who wants to dive, being able to grab that up is just fantastic. And it's worth throwing out here. Team League, picking out order. If you can main tanks, if that's where you can climb, that is an amazing feat, because it really, really sucks for my main number one top pick in Hero League to be Diablo. And if I don't get him, I'm not going to go to Zul'jin because that's too counterable. I go on Jaina. But there's way better Jainas in the world than me. I love picking out order.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm excited for it to come to Hero League or for the merge, where that's just how we play ranked, whatever the case is. And we're planning to talk about this, so I'm going to just throw the switch and get right into our hopes and dreams, Kyle. Oh, or I'm going to change the rack in the mixer and hit an empty button. Here we go.
We're on, boys! Ha ha! Let's liven up this place!
Point me to the stage.
Stay a while and listen.
So it's a rather light news week. We did get the announcement of when Season 2 will be beginning, and it's going to kick off the week of March 19th.
It's a pretty hefty season.
Yeah, I think that's makes sense to me. I mean, we're already halfway through January, if you haven't been keeping up.
It's going fast.
Yeah.
This is when we would expect the Hero League Team League merger to happen. That is the healthy time. It's when I think you would expect maybe that new hero that we're probably not going to get until then, because I'm sure they're going to slow those down as well to pad out time and keep the game looking alive throughout the year. There's a lot of weight on that date now.
Yeah, well, that's where my brain goes too. I mean, we're not sure. They haven't said when this is rolling out. We just know it's the merge of Hero League and Team League is still being worked on. And you're right. I mean, when else are you going to do it? It would be very messy to pull the trigger or flip the switch in the middle of a season.
We also know that there was perhaps a quest-like structure coming for the rewards. Play 10 games. Ooh, got that portrait. Play 20 games. Hey, maybe you're getting into that mount territory and unlocking maybe the epic mount for playing 50 games, right? A system that would encourage you to keep playing past initial placements if you don't have MMR decay, which is healthy, but also just feels awful because you're going to punish me for not playing Hero League, but I don't want to wait 13 minutes. I want to play Team League, which is 5 minutes. Queue time and a better experience overall. In my opinion, playing in the middle of the day, there's a lot of talk on the Reddit right now about smurfing and how awful it is. I can assure you that my silver friend that I team up with and a diamond connected to my name, that's a friend, as I'm sure most of them are.
Yeah, well, so people are pointing to disparities between leagues and saying, Smurf, we got a Smurf here.
Correct. And, then they get owned by some level of coordination, and it's not uncommon. These things do happen. And, of course, we look at our bell curve. Diamond guy teams up with a bronze. Oh, that bronze must be a Smurf because he ended up in my gold game. Yeah, well, that's where they'd end up because you slam those two together, and that's where they would plug in. They have mentioned in the past, though, that a possible fix for this would be that you fight whichever the highest end of your MMR is. So that bronze player would now have to fight diamond level players. Sad for the team that is all diamonds all around them, but you would have a higher sense of things hanging out with his diamond friend. And hey, how many diamond games can you go in while still being bronze without rage quitting or becoming better?
Yeah. I've been playing a lot of games with our master buddy Daribo, which puts me up against folks in significantly higher leagues than myself, and it's a lot of fun. And I do it because I legitimately like playing with the dude, not because of any other freaking reason. Like, it is, I win more when I don't play with him.
Yeah, there are expectations to it, of course, that can cause lots of errors to happen and be frustrating. I had number 36 Grandmaster Jaina in my game this last week. And in the middle team fight, they go ping, ping, ping on the Stukov. There are 4. This is like a 4-person melee and Stukov team. So 5 melee almost draft. And past the double front line, past the 2 mages, is a Stukov on the back. And Jaina's like, get it. Get that guy. And the whole rest of the team's like, we can't go back there. Jaina just runs for it. She gets that Stukov, but she nearly got killed in the process because no one backed her up. That's what a Grandmaster sees, is only the back line. Zul'jin's going, I'm getting a quest and I'm farming on the tank. All right.
and that's the divide you're going to see. Now, what do you think there's any way they could maybe soften the blow for the other random high league play? I mean, and we're not saying that this is 100% happening, right? This is just an idea that's been tossed about.
Right. Thrown out in a blue post on a Reddit during AMA.
Yes. So, I mean, one would think they would have to put in some sort of system to soften the blow for the... So again, let's use the example you mentioned with like Bronze and Diamond Buddy, party up. They go against all diamonds because it's the highest rank. I feel like if you do lose, there should be a cushion for the non-partied diamond players.
Right. I don't think anyone would want to be on the team with the bronze that lost. How sad would that be?
Right. I mean, really, it's just at a certain point you're trying to socially engineer this as best as you can, because you don't want people to show up. Like the game loads in and you're a diamond player, not in a party, and you see all the portraits and you're like, oh man, we got the bronze player. And then you get into the game and everyone's raging and the team pre-tilts and I see it leading to being rude to the bronze player.
Sure, there's no perfect scenario there. And the one I care about least is the support version, where Grandmaster Jaina is buddied up with a good friend. You know, they're not smurfing. This guy didn't purposely go to bronze so that Jaina could become Grandmaster. Let's just put that out there for this example. But Jaina says, hey, why don't you be Ana and Nano Boost me? I'm going to kill them all because I'm a Grandmaster. And Bronze Buddy says, heck yeah, that sounds awesome. I can sort of aim my skill shots. Ana is fully accessible in that situation. There is a squishy old lady in the back line, and we are all going to dive this poor Ana, who misses their skill shots, who doesn't hit their grenade on us, and she's going to die, and then we will all turn on Grandmaster Jaina, and despite their skills and maybe a level lead, they die. No big deal in that situation. But there is one we've heard about where the player instead picks their friend something resilient, something mistake resilient, like Johanna. They put them on Johanna, and yeah, they're not peeling. Yeah, they're not zoning. They're not tanking. They're not lane clearing correctly. But they're making lots of mistakes. It doesn't really matter because it's Johanna. And if everyone's like, farm Johanna, well, it's going to take a while. And that pro Jaina might get you down in the time.
I mean, these are all issues that are going to come about. But I'm still just so pleased with the Q times of Team League, with the first come first serve, and you know the pick order. That I don't know. To me, this is the future of the game. We've seen some population issues. It gets significantly worse in the higher end. I don't see any other way to go.
It seems right. I mean, even, you can't stop everything. Of course, the best systems in the world wouldn't be resilient to what I saw this week, which was, hey, last pick, what are you going to do? Says nothing. Nothing. Finally, his pick comes up. He types S, enter, E, enter, X, and slams that Zeratul pick. I don't know why. He wanted to spell it, and he was good, but we sure would have liked a bruiser.
Did you win?
We won. Yeah, he was a good Zeratul, and I did a darn fine job solo tanking on an Uberak, but, it was a little spooky.
Zeratul is seeing a resurgence right now. You go to Hot Slogs, he's number 4 overall. And this isn't like a Provius sitting at number 1 with 368 games played. No, Zeratul's number 4 with almost 5,000 games played and even more games in that band. Sitting at a 54% win rate. Dude is doing well and still climbing.
Yeah, he also has a 62% win rate on his one main build that you'll see spam. Some people do fall for the Rending Cleave, which is the additional 40% damage over 3 seconds. But most people are going with that, the winners anyway, are going with that Psionic Strength into the Seeker in the Dark. Yes, you can Wormhole. That's the easy version of Seeker in the Dark. But there is a build here, and he has one. That could be something that gets targeted down in the near future. It's not like the clearly home games right now without the pro play is not being informed by Pro Zeratul. This is a home problem now.
I kind of dig it. It was a while there I just wasn't seeing stealthies in my games, and now with Samuro and Zeratul, I kind of missed them, which I never thought I would say.
Yeah, and like I say, I think we're having trouble getting tank players at the moment. I think supports are often weaker links, people who are picking last or didn't know what to pick early on and end up on that role. And things like Zul'jin, Raynor, Jaina are in vogue, and that's going to mean stealthies are going to do pretty darn well.
Yeah, Raynor clicked again for me since last episode as well. For some reason, it just wasn't working, and then I'm back to breaking the damage meters on Raynor, Kyle. It feels like
he always gets away right now.
Feels like 2 years ago on Raynor. Except Banshee's awesome.
It's really tough to identify what meta we're in. So it feels like double Bruiser because of Imperious's inclusion, and we're running the Nubarax who can kind of solo. And I'm really into the right-click guys, though, because there's a lot of mages, and they miss their shots, and let's guarantee that damage.
I mean, one, I would just like to say, please don't invoke Imperious, because then you give the impression folks should be picking him. I don't think they should be. I had a really bad game earlier where someone went Imperious, first pick Imperious, and I was like, no, why? Oh.
It's not his place, but yes, the puzzle then is, well, when is his place, Kyle? It's like, well, when you didn't want to play something more useful?
Yeah, when you wanted to win more. When you didn't want to plan for being behind.
Pursuit teams are really good right now. Stitches, Artanis, things that continue to eat and feed and make that stagger, and Imperious is good at that, so he has a fine place, but when he falls behind, he kind of feels like Illidan. What are you going to do out there?
Yeah, except Illidan can at least go Merc and help the team.
yeah, that's true.
Imperious can just look cool with his bigger wings.
Yeah, contribute that soak with a global, take down a building by himself. Illidan's got his wiggle room to get back in.
Yeah. To me, I call this classic meta. They just, we're usually single supporting. A lot of comps I see are still getting a more traditional main tank. Mages are in. Auto attacks are in. Raynor and Zul'jin are finding homes. Kael'thas and Jaina are finding homes in many, many, many games. It's to me, I'm seeing the classic setups, one mage, one auto attacker, a tank, a support, and then you got a flex spot.
I did have a big surge of Kyrazine paired with Tyrande this last week, which is super old school. Make it up, throw Tassadar in there, why not? And it works well. It's damage Kyrazine with a Tyrande doing the healing, but with Starfall, which is a healing build too, because you do damage, then you get more healing. I haven't seen a single Uther who kind of pioneered our new double support lifestyle.
Yeah, I haven't either unless I'm playing him. Still working, fun. By the way. Yeah, still really like the Raynor. Or not Raynor, Uther. Getting my Urs wrong. But working out for me. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're still a ways out from March 19th. There's still a lot of time for them to announce if anything is going to be coming along with the start of Season 2. But
it's tough to tell if, kind of like World of Warcraft has, if we're listening to the hardcore raiders. There's a lot of people who would say, oh, well, when that merger comes, that's when I'll be back in ranked play. And, well, you've never been that much into ranked play in the first place. Don't kid yourself. But this is a really important stepping stone to revitalizing the game and getting people to come back to it in the first place. And if we incentivize them to stay more and invite their friends into that mode, there's a lot of people complaining about quick match matchmaking. I say, what do you do and complain about quick match matchmaking? You got ranked modes right there. I haven't touched on ranked in forever, though. I think that to me is just bloat. No reason for it. Plenty of people have it. The ladder anxiety. I'm over that. That's fine. I get back on the horse fast if I have a bad day in ranked. Next day I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I don't really, I can't remember the last time I did unranked. I'm doing my warm-up games and quick match, and then it's off to Team League.
Right, because you want to learn something new. You want to pick your exact hero. That's what quick match is for, darn it. Hell yeah. But unranked has no place in my heart.
Yep. Quick match is stretching. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Get the stretch in. But, yeah, we didn't see any type of patch this week. I was expecting to see an Imperious buff.
That'd only be 1 week, though.
It would be, yeah. So you think next week?
Next week would be when Imperious would get his buff. He's currently at 46%. Picking the right build doesn't change that unless you get to level 16, which in that case, you're assuming that level 16 heroes won a game early, and that is inflating his win rate there. So 46% Imperious. Not too hot, not horrible. Totally looking at a buff. It seems like if you were to put your hand on the pulse, people want battle. People want the auto attacks heal you to be baked in. And I think that's fair. He feels a little clunky, a little tough to maintain. It reminds me a lot of old Artanis back when I had to be like, oh, I queued for another Artanis game. Darn it, I'm not level 13 anymore. Okay, I need to cool my jets.
Yeah, he feels just old school is what I would say. He just has an issue with dying.
Talent dependent, and something we talked about on previous episodes when you're making your roster and looking at what's good, particularly in a game like our meta right now where early leads can equal forts, equal trickle, equal wins. Your kit is where your power is, and take a look at this win rate right now. I mean, even Probius, but Malthael, Anubarak, Zeratil's probably the one that really needs talents to do his business. But Sergeant Hammer, Jaina, like all these characters come with the most of what they need already baked in. That's why Li Ming is bad, because she has to get a whole bunch of talents before she's functional. Plus, she has horrible lane clear.
Give her Calamity back, damn it.
But yes, yeah, I would agree.
I don't.
Calamity lane clearing, that is.
Yes.
Let it hit non-heroic targets.
Exactly. I don't just give it back. Give it back. It's fine. I don't think we risk Li Ming shooting to the top of the win rates just with that.
The real question in my mind is what comes with Imperious? And are they going to balance other aspects of the game? And are they going to move fast to unpro our game?
Okay. So you're thinking revert, change. We flirted with this idea over the past few episodes, but you're basically talking about reverting changes that were implemented as a result of HGC.
Correct. Like pure HGC decisions.
Okay.
Now, we just talked about Zeratul. That sounds like maybe a healthy place to certainly incentivize some talents and maybe take down the core talents a little bit so that his win rate falls. There are heroes that, of course, are perfectly fine receiving the HGC balance they did. Maiev was a tank without any regeneration, but still, she had armor. She had tons of damage. It was broken. And I think we're all happy Maiev isn't a terror. I don't want to fight her all the time. I don't want to be Maiev all the time. I really enjoy playing her. I'm perfectly healthy with everything they did for HGC for our home games. But I did dig into years of patch notes this week to see what sort of changes were HGC-centric and what they might be pulling back on.
Yeah, you've got a lot of numbers in here. So you basically have a list here of some of the top patched heroes. And my first question is, are these numbers just the amount of patches they ended up in, or the total number of like individual changes?
This is the number of times they were changed. So just for okay. Interest's sake, Brightwing and Abathur are the most changed adjusted heroes in this video game.
They have been the target of some sort of change in a patch, tied at 59 times. 59 times Brightwing and Abathur have been in a patch.
After that is Diablo and Zeratul, two heroes we've talked about over this past 2 episodes. Diablo, his right-click ability makes him too good against too many things. I really love the way he plays, but that's winning talking. And Zeratul now we're requesting something be done.
Well, you remember old Void Prison Zeratul.
What about it?
They used to shut off team fights constantly with those things.
Oh yeah, the old cooldown and all that sort of business.
Yeah, it was on a very short cooldown, and it was just an off button.
Yeah, I did see a really cool Zeratul move where it was one of those team fights we won in the bottom lane where the keep was still up, but we had access in the top lane to the core.
All right,
this guy just runs to the keep, void prisons it, and walks to the core. So that we didn't have to do that thing where we kill the keep, but we didn't need to if we could run to the top. He was just like, no, we're already in bottom. Let's walk past this fort and just go to the core because it's already open.
Oh, gotcha. Lane. Yeah, so okay, yeah, and if you're close enough to the core, even when Void Prison expires, you won't be taking keep shots.
Exactly.
So it's irrelevant. It's like the keep was never there because it's time to end.
Yeah.
That's adorable. I've never seen. I haven't seen that.
I mean, something league dependent, right? You do that in silver, and everyone's like, "What the hell's there? Till we were gonna kill the keep, you denied us XP." And he's like, "Core, everybody, what's wrong with you?"
Speaking in generalizations, but yes.
Sure, yes, of course.
Yep. Nova, which is definitely more of an at-home change than a pro change, but Nova has ended up in patches 53 times.
Nazebo, Tyrande, Zagara, and Uther Malfurion, ending us at about 47 changes each. And it goes on from there, of course, but it's interesting to see who is the top adjusted over the course of years of patches.
Yeah, absolutely. So to get into what started this conversation, which is, it sounds like you're hoping for reversals of changes to heroes that were made for the pro meta. Anything at the top of your brain?
I mean, very top of my brain was my great enjoyment of Yrel, who was just mana neutered for very little purpose except for to make it difficult to do, to make it more boring. That was dumb. And I get it. She's leaping all over. She's not calming down. It's nice to have Yrel run out of mana and be like, yeah, we can get her now. But making it artificially tough to lane, that's not fun. That's not one of those 7 key phrases on the Blizzard spinny box they made. That's not thinking globally.
Yeah, but if you make it better for Yrel, I think you need to make it better for Blaze. And do you want to be back in that meta? Because that did affect our games at home.
Yeah, it was frustrating to always have to have a Yrel or Blaze in that solo lane. Granted, it gave Malthael a real place to shine. He's already really good. Would we have to adjust his win rate, his performance down in order to bring these two lane bruiser tanks back? Talking about Blaze there because he's been categorized as a tank now. It's not perfect, but I would be very curious to see if Yrel and Blaze would have just fun incentivization.
Yeah, I mean, so it sounds more with them. It sounds more like you're hoping they revisit them and look at how they can tune them better rather than just making them worse.
Right. There are some talents in this game, like Zagara, where it received a nerf very soon after a rework, and it's just sitting there, weird-ass roach talents that nobody wants, but they just nerfed them because they were too good on release, and now we just don't pick them. And we're not talking about talent here. We're talking about full-blown 2 heroes that are just kind of sitting there.
No, that's fair. I do still see Blaze from time to time, but I cannot tell you the last time I saw Yrel.
And are you sad to say Blaze is a bit of a imperious in my head? I go,
yeah. No, I'm sad when it's on my team, and I'm really happy when it's on the opposing team.
Yeah,
it's just it's a hero I can abuse, and not a hero that I particularly know how to help or empower if it's on my team.
And I'm certainly happy to have you disagree with any of these because, like I said, something like Maiev, I'm fine with her being nerfed. She was too much. I don't want to see it all the time.
Yeah, again, maybe they could give her a little bit of power back, but I would not want Launch Maiev. Launch Maiev, again, was a terror at our home games, not just the HGC.
Well, let's talk about a controversial one that is rather silly, particularly in lower league play in our home games. Back on September 26, 2017, Falstad and Dahaka received cooldown interruptions. If you recast your cooldown, you go on 10 seconds. So if you are trying to pick a bush to go to as Dahaka, but you go, oh, I want a different bush, you now go on 10-second cooldown. Falstad, oh, I didn't mean to target there, and I'm at the core, I want to fly. Let me just adjust that a little bit, a foot. Oh, now I got to wait 10 seconds.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that, but if they give them that back, can I cancel my phase shift on Brightwing, please?
That's an interesting comment, right? Brightwing has her own sort of whoops punishment built in that has never been adjusted in.
Listen, man, the longer I go between Brightwing games, the more I wish that was a thing, because you slam that Z button because, all right, fight's over, time to mount. Oh, damn, I just freaking just used my global to go half a yard.
Oh, as someone who's been playing a lot of Diablo Artanis, and I'm at low health, but I go zoom in one direction, zooming back the other way, either by domination or by my psionic strikes. Brightwing misses and accidentally clicks Jaina, who has full health and now has full health again. And canceling that might be a good thing for the guy who's moving too fast.
Yeah, but I get it. I mean, it's more, to me, it's more of a quality of life thing. I don't think it's the end. I never thought that these changes, that giving you some type of punishment on your cooldown for Falstad or Dahaka was a massive negative ding to these two heroes.
Fair.
I guess I just don't feel strongly in either direction. If they reversed it, I'd be fine with it. If they don't touch it, I would also be fine with it.
Let's talk about one that was 100% for the pros. And that was actually kind of funnily, Muradin's Unstoppable Dwarf Toss actually stated in the July 12th, 2016 patch that this is for the pro scene where it is most abused.
Yeah. I kind of like it, though.
A knowledgeable player will simply ride the bumper cars for a little bit. You know, Johanna goes, whoa, oh no, condemn. And Lucio goes, and like everyone just kind of bumpers you around and you're murdered and you go, all right, cooldowns, everybody, cool. And then you leave. But so many times among so many friends, I've seen impatience. And they go, oh, there were roots there. I wanted to jump them. I'm in the air. Why? How could this have happened to me?
Yeah, I mean, that's to me, I start getting really nerdy with this kind of conversation because I look at something like that and I start to get into the fantasy of the ability, and then I start comparing it to the fantasy of other abilities. So condemn, I kind of think it would work on something that would be above Johanna, but roots, it doesn't make any sense. You're jumping over. Why does it snag you?
Yeah,
you get where I'm coming from, right?
Right, and at the same time, nerdy in the opposite direction. Well, I am rewarded as a skilled player for understanding all the nuances and different types of CC in this game that I have avoided and properly cast my Dwarf Toss.
Right. So this is the kind of thing that and in that regard, I push back against making it unstoppable again with, well, it's just a buff at that point.
Yeah.
Because if you did already know about it, and they give you your unstoppable back, you're just like, sweet, I can just cheat out of anything bad that comes my way.
We can also say, though, that maybe Muradin needs it. He's one of the most popular heroes in lower league play, overall in Hero League Team League. And with a 25% participation in all games, he has the same win rate as Imperius. The exact same.
Yeah. But
I'd say that would go way up if everyone would just ride the bumper cars a little bit.
Well, yes. But then suddenly I think he just becomes like top pick tank material again. There's a big argument for that. And I like those type of revelations to be sitting there waiting to be discovered by new players or players that haven't done the research to see how they can up their level of play. I like that that's there. If you've been playing a bunch of Muradin, but you didn't know that he wasn't unstoppable during a dwarf toss, and suddenly you do know, and you adjust your play accordingly, and you start winning more games as a result of this new micro adjustment to your own play, I find that super rad. That's what I like about games like this.
Very rewarding to understand those exchanges. If this is reflected a little bit in something like Subterranean Shield on a Nubrak, a level 7 talent, that whenever you burrow charge, you get a shield. 54% win rate, pick rate. The next pick rate is 30%. So this is a really popular talent that gives a shield anytime you burrow charge, because in a time in the past, they kept its unstoppableness, but they decided that missiles and tracking features, spells, could follow you through the burrow charge. And if you went through it, if you burrow under a flame strike, you're still hit by it. Because of that mechanics change, Subterranean Shield is a required pick in a lot of people's minds.
It is good. I mean, I don't agree that it's an auto pick, but
no, 54% win rate across all talents on that board. But in our minds of the community, it's an auto pick.
Yeah. Can I say which heroes I think should stay and not reverted in any way?
Sure. I've been dishing on my end. What you got?
Genji and Tracer. Leave them alone. Do not revert the changes you made to these two heroes.
They are a little scandalous in that way. Genji, of course, getting the Dragon Blade reduction on February 6th of this year, and Swift Strike damage reductions as well on August of this year. He is not doing the most damage in the world anymore. He lost that range recently. Maybe he gets some of it back.
No, please no. No. Genji is still very effective in the right hands, and if we're moving to a ranked mode where we're mashing together Hero League and Team League, which means we're going to see more varied league spreads in our matchups, I don't want to be in gold or plat or even diamond and get matched against a Masters or higher Genji that just runs the field because they reverted some of his nerfs.
There is too much carry potential when you get to maps like Braxis. And we all, think about the boss trick. In case you're new, absolutely worth telling you. The boss goes, Braxis, machine guns. Genji stands in it, destroys the boss. The boss is dead. But the main reason why Genji's so good, because the boss is such a small part of that map, is he's able to maneuver between the lanes very quickly and constantly gank. Something that a high skill player will constantly do and abuse.
Right.
There's a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think he stands out too strongly against all of the heroes that are in this game as a carry. And there's
because
not
of the type of game we made.
Yes, and there's not a hard counter in my mind to a good Genji with the old versions of Genji that have existed. I still see some ungodly things with the Genji that's currently in the game.
It is weird that, and I know they're number adjustments, just one guy can sit at a computer and go boop, boop, damage reduction, and it's done. Very little workload, lots of mental process, I'm sure. Lots of doodle pads, I have no doubt, in his home, whoever's making these balance changes now. But it's interesting that we haven't changed the map, Braxis, to deny Genji some of that power, particularly the boss's move. Why does he still have that? Why don't we get rid of that for him?
Or code it specifically for Genji's deflect.
Maybe, right? Like the bosses can clearly sense when more than one person is in an area. That's where the Cursed Hollow boss puts his roots. He wants to grab the most people at once. If you're soloing a Cursed Hollow boss and you're a single guy, you're Fury Fairy, and you're not Rexar, he won't ever cast his root. He simply doesn't do it sometimes. So these bosses are smart in some regards. What if he sends Genji and he's like, I'm good. There's a pilot inside. I'm smart. I'm not going to do that to Genji.
Or I was thinking you just code it so that the deflect protects Genji but doesn't reflect the damage.
On non-heroic targets or something like that, because people hate the jump in the lane, get deflected business in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably going too far. I think Genji's in a good place is the point I'm trying to make.
That's fair.
Whereas I I look at something like the Tracer changes, which seemed more to be more of for us at home. And I mean, at the time, I forget the exact wording they used in the developer comments with the multiple Tracer changes, but it was essentially like trying to help with annoyance.
Yeah, they diverted a lot of the damage over the course of 3 patches throughout earlier this year, mainly through the summer, to rework Tracer's low health, high stickiness into something higher health, but with more damage on the physical melee strike rather than the bomb and the bullets. A lot of this was also tied to the death of Tassadar in all play altogether, because Tassadar was her best buddy when she was making these auto attacks all the time. The melee hit is spell damage. The bomb is spell damage. And Tassadar is not going to help out with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. I still think Tracer does just fine. I think I think Genji is a higher skill cap in my mind than Tracer, but I think Tracer's still a relatively high skill cap hero. That's why it's okay in my mind that with the stats that we have access to at home, looking at something like Hot Slogs, that they're a little lower on there, because I think in the right hands they still excel.
Speaking of Tassadar, he received his nerf to Plasma Shields, the rework where he got lifesteal on them, back on June 28th, 2017. And outside of a brief stint with Tracer in that April-June period of this year, has not had time to play.
And now we get to what Kyle showed up to talk about. I know you. This was all crafted. The last 20 minutes, it was just a smoke screen to make us believe that you cared about anything other than making Tassadar an amazing hero again.
Maybe. I would be really excited to see what Tassadar becomes with his rework. I want it sooner rather than later, obviously. Shields are for pro play because of focus fire. When you all agree as 5 people to get one guy, having a shield that can ride on in and increase that person's health is a very good counterplay. You got Medivh now, let's make him that Archon. Heck, we're running double mage all the time right now for reasons. Let's get another mage in there. Why not?
Yeah, I wouldn't be against it. Have you seen just a ton of Tassadar lately?
No, not at all.
In my quick match games, just all over the place. I feel like he's in every quick match game.
Weird.
Yeah, it's strange. I don't know where it's coming from.
Having fun?
But maybe. Go figure, right?
Having
fun in quick match? Madness, Kyle. Madness.
How dare I suggest such a serious
How dare that? I've seen some great walls. There's some Tassadars out there. They still got it. They still got those old skills. But anyone else? Greymane comes to mind.
Yeah, Greymane got his cocktail nerfs back in February of this year and received a overall damage decrease to Razor Swipe and Go for the Throat in August of 2017. He has not received any adjustments to help him out with that. And at least in my league, Greymane equals Arthas, and that is a shutdown Greymane.
Which is kind of cool. I like counter drafting.
It's rewarding since I now play Arthas, but it's a little sad.
Yeah, that's why I'm a little worried. I'm worried they're going to come after my Anubarak at some point, because Anubarak used to be a counter pick to spell damage, and now it's just I feel like outplaying my opponent. I'm going to just take this hero blindly.
What's very interesting is I couldn't find any health nerfs at all to Vala.
If there are any, I do not remember.
Yeah, but Vala, something that is purposely squishy, it felt like, for the pro scene with the Tassadars and the double support as we went into that meta. But Vala actually hasn't received that many adjustments over the years.
So you think there should be?
I'm not sure. Like, if
Vala ain't doing hot at home right now.
Yeah. If you work Greymane back in, should we work in the old double support friend Vala into that as well? They kind of we're going for Vala. We didn't get Vala. Okay, Greymane. That was a time period. That was during this August 2017.
Yeah, I'm not. Interesting. Better question, how would you help Vala?
I would really like to move her mana efficiency around. I think she is really fun in particular situations. If not that particular situation, you're Monster Hunter. So you've got one build, unless everybody was on board for you to get cute.
Everybody, protect me.
Yeah, exactly. They have double, triple tank, and I'm going to attack whatever the heck I want forever. Creed of the Hunter, here we go. And it's fun. I had one game I won with it once. It was amazing. It was a god. Unstoppable. I had my 4 friends with me. I just clicked whatever I wanted and it died.
Yeah, so if they do make adjustments to try and help her win rate, don't put them in auto-attacking, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it felt like they were purposely keeping her health low in the past. That's not really the case. The only thing she's ever received is a health buff. And then they reworked some hatred stuff and making sure that she had to build slowly to that amount of damage. She, of course, being an original hero, has had tons of patches to get rid of her generic talents, but really not a lot else.
Yeah. I mean, think about it, dude. We've been playing since the Tech Alpha. She plays more or less the same.
Yeah, and it is unique in that way. There's no one else like Vala.
Yeah, except I feel like back in the Tech Alpha, we were doing multi-shot build a lot.
Yeah. Couldn't tell you why.
I don't even remember.
Anymore.
I feel like the grenades did an ass ton of damage.
Oh, yeah, grenades. That's right.
I'd have to go back and look at patches. They may have gone on longer than I'm remembering. Because his battlefield wasn't even a launch battleground.
No, it was not. Pretty soon after, though. I mean, that was the big Diablo event.
That was so good, man. It was such a good event. It's fantastic. So
a couple of other minor notes would be something like Whitemane received a health reduction as well as a number of other reductions back in October. She's now one of the lowest win rate heroes alongside Deckard. She was doing fine when pro play existed with Deckard. They've both seen falling win rates since HGC left.
Yeah, I think those are 2 higher skill floor healers, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Very aggressive.
Yeah. That being said, I would not mind either of them getting a little bit of love. I do remember when Whitemane had launched, though, she was very difficult to kill.
Yeah, and she still can be. If you can weather the storm, if you have a bit longer lasting heroics and you can get through that couple of seconds of Aegis, you're going to be just fine.
Yeah, but I would like to see that's where I'm on board. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's start. Greymane and the 2 healers we just mentioned, Whitemane and Deckard. Maybe let's take a look at them.
And we brought this up a little earlier, but it bears repeating. Li Ming lost Calamity hitting any non-heroic targets back in December 6th of 2016. 2016. Li Ming has been without lane clear because of pro scene.
Li Ming is for the games at home, man. She is an anomaly because she's so popular. One of the most played heroes, and if you look at something like Hotslogs, you look at the amount of games played, and you sort by like most games played. She has like the lowest win rate of everyone around her. Like Imperius is above her.
Yeah, people enjoy them some Li Ming. 20% of games, even in drafted play.
It's one of my favorite kits in the game. I love it. But it just seems like I'm signing up to work a lot harder with a much larger chance for error than with the other mages that are currently in the game. It's just easier to kill people as Kael'thas or Jaina. Why do I want to work that hard? And I get to clear. I actually have lane clear on those 2 heroes.
The solo lane has changed dramatically. I remember teaching on the show as well as in my own lessons that Li Ming is excellent against buildings. Well, she lost that power in some balance patches as well. Straight up removed her damage to buildings because she could farm those things like nobody else.
Yeah. God, that was fun. I like those days.
Still see it from time to time, but it ain't as effective. Same with Skeleton King, but he's his own story. He's got plenty of limitations and requirements for him to work. Kind of like Tychus. I'm not going to add it onto this list. You guys know me. Of course, I'd love Tychus to have his range back. That wasn't HGC related. That was an overall issue while we were trying to diversify the draft. Tychus was just too good at too many things.
Dude, I was playing him at the 2.0 summit.
Yeah.
That's how good Tychus was at the time. I was just like, I'm looking around the summit just like, I am outclassed in in ability here. I'm just going to play Tychus.
Yeah, keep it safe. Going to play some Tychus. What a world to say that.
Yeah. But, I do feel extremely strongly about him, though. They need to make his heal talent work the way it used to. That's the stuff.
Again, it's not related to the pro scene. We were abusing it at home. I was abusing it. I got to Masters League on the back of that very talent.
That's fine, but it's not that good anymore. I mean, it's still it's still okay, but it's fine. It's fine. You don't need to give him his range back. Just make that's the stuff work the way it used to.
I want that range, but
I would rather have the range as well. We're bargaining here. I think it's more realistic that that's the stuff goes back to the way it used to work.
Throughout looking through all these patches, so many different heroes, looking up what the pro scene changed, looking at developer comments, there is one that is not related at all to HGC that just sticks out like a sore thumb, and that's Junkrat. He received a Taste for Explosions nerf back on November 11th, 2017. And that is the only ever nerf he's received to his main talent build. That guy has one talent build in the whole game. And you can deviate from it at your own risk. And I like doing traps too, big ass. That's pretty cute, big old traps chasing people. You're doing it wrong. And you've been doing it wrong since release. He's just sitting there.
Yeah, and he's taken a tumble.
That he has.
Recently. No. Sure. Give Junkrat back.
Unrelated, but still just an outlier in what the heck. And I mean, in a reworked kind of way, Kerrigan is sitting in this place too. One build, unless they click you in a different direction. And then you go to that one build, and then you go to that one build. It's just weird.
Yeah. I haven't been back on Kerrigan in a while. I miss her. I don't know why.
I think it's safe to say throughout this conversation, Lee Ming needs lane clear. That's we've decided.
Tassadar should be a good hero again, and Lee Ming needs wave clear.
I'd be curious to hear from everybody out there, either in our Discord or at itncast@gmail.com. What you think was the biggest changes and something you'd like to see revert that simply didn't make sense for you at home.
And we're totally okay with selfish requests.
Yeah.
But just do me a favor, if it is a selfish request, let me know why. Let me know why it's so important to you.
You can say it's stupid too. That's fine. Selfish doesn't have to make sense.
Yep. But anyways, Kyle, maybe everything we just said is putting the cart before the horse, because Heroes of the Storm Esports seems to be rising like a phoenix from the ashes at the moment.
It is.
First up is a whole new Heroes tournament that was announced yesterday. Heroes Hearth has teamed up with Tempo Storm and is putting on the Toasty and Gladman Heroes Invitational, which, according to the Tempo Storm press release, is, quote, considered a pilot with potential to develop into a tournament series depending on the event's success. They went on to say that the tournament will span 2 days and follow a single elimination format. The prize pool starts at $5,000. They're also going to have additional prizing possible through crowdfunding and or additional sponsors. So they're still in the process of finalizing the 8 invited teams, so they're going to be announcing them soon as they have them locked in. But this is great news.
That is a darn good prize pool for one weekend.
Yeah, it is, and it could get bigger. And I would assume with the hustle of organizations like Heroes Hearth and Tempo Storm that some more sponsors are going to be found, or that if and when they launch a crowdfunding for the tournament, that is going to do all right.
I think so. This is the kind of marathon you can get behind because it's one weekend, and you're going to say, okay, my weekend, this is yours. Not 5 next weekends. Oh.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, they say it's a pilot, right? So this is testing the waters, essentially. So if this is successful, we're going to see more of it. And if that's not enough, if you're like, okay, one weekend, cool, I know what to watch, when to watch it, where to go, I would like something that's a little longer form, more regular. Dude, we've been talking about Division S for, I think this is week 4 now in a row that we've mentioned Division S. They've been they announced it. Now they've raised a bunch of money. Now multiple teams have been unveiled, and we know when or how often it's going to be happening. The league stage is going to be played in a double round robin format with one match a week for 14 weeks. They're going to have 14 weeks of league play with one match a week, and the top 6 teams are going to qualify for a playoff tournament. This sounds so much more watchable than what we had with HGC.
You can build a story over the course of the week. You can say why this game this weekend is going to be important and you should check it out. You can actually get knowledge about the two teams, what they like to do, who's it going to be. The casters can supply us with that storyline as well, because they don't have to study 4 different games that they're casting on a single day to come back the next day and do the same and do it again Sunday the next day. I'm a really big fan of digestible esports.
Yeah. But by the way, they hit their new goal of 15,000 on the crowdfunding. I mean, their original goal was set for 10K. They hit that very fast. I think last week they were sitting at 13 and change. So now they've hit their 15,000 goal, and that it's according to them, it's to secure a larger prize pool for the players. So that's cool. And while that is small compared to what we were used to with HGC, yeah, 14 weeks is a long time, but again, it's only one match a week. This isn't marathon sessions.
When you break this down into what the final winning prize will look at, it's about $3,000. And when you add 14 weeks to that, clearly we're not going full-time HGC. These pros will ideally not be making a full living, unless it's a rough living, off of this prize pool. But the level of play wouldn't be there anyway. A lot of them are streaming now, other games even. They have other income sources that they're building. This is a decent call to action for these pros to gather together, to commit the time, and give us a good entertainment show.
Yeah. No, and to me, this is the kind of thing that sounds healthy and sustainable. And you're right. I keep coming back to the one match a week over the course of 14 weeks. You mentioned the storyline. It's to me, that's so important. It's so critical to having the audience buy in to the competition.
It sounds so ridiculous with how we've come to know esports. Survival guides. Oh, there's nothing I hate more seeing on a Reddit than survival guides.
That's like walking in and hearing pop quiz. Like I was like, oh great, I'm gonna have to work now.
Yeah, and pop quizzes, guess what? They're not important information. What color was her dress? I don't know. Damn it. I was too busy listening to Frodo talk about taking the ring, but here you go. Quizzing me on stuff that makes no damn sense. What color were the pies Gandalf made? I don't care. And so you go through reading looking for this useless... I'm on a different tirade. Hang on. All right. I hate pop quizzes.
Bring it
anyway,
back.
Bring it back.
We're not in school anymore, Kyle. We're in our 30s.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank
goodness. It's over.
But seeing patch survival guides, weekend survival guides, the reason those exist is because there's too much to digest and people are trying to make sense of it. When you have one game coming this weekend, you can promote replays of that team, what maps they like to play on, why it's interesting that they pick that map, what heroes they like, who on the team plays what heroes, and who you should be watching out for if you're a huge fan of Zeratul.
Yeah. You know what this reminds me of? This sounds like when we were watching GSL back in the StarCast days. It was more than one match a week, but it was one group at a time per night, and it was just very easy and digestible to understand why it was important that one player was fighting another, and why they picked the maps that they pick, and why they play the strategies that they play.
And I could designate the brain-spaced understanding matches I wasn't interested in. So let's say no team runs Zul'jin, and all I want to see is Zul'jin play. But I checked the Zul'jin games. I saw them. Awesome. Then I checked the scoreboard. That makes mental sense. Where'd they go? Losers bracket? Sure. I am now invested in the full tournament rather than who's playing what Who? Why? They got points. Oh, who has what points? Who's in the lead? Does that mean anything?
Right. But again, I just want to reiterate that this is good and exciting. That in the same week we now know that multiple pros from Heroes of the Storm that we know and love are heading to Division S, and that Heroes Hearth and Tempest Storm have gotten together to make a new tournament. This is what we're talking about. When the announcement came down that HGC was over, we're just like, this obviously leaves room for anything, because now there's no more professional Heroes back or Blizzard back tournament. But we were sitting here wondering, where do we go from here? What is the community going to do? Clearly, someone's going to step up and at least attempt a community tournament, and here we have multiple community tournaments announced in the same week.
And we do have quite a few player names, but there is also an opening for you to sign up. If you're interested out there and you want to compete and qualify for this event, you can. Yeah. How interesting is that?
Very. And if we're talking Division S specifically, which we are, because Heroes Hearth and Tempest Storm is going to be an invitational, but that's where I come back again to the sustainability, knowing that it's a once a week thing over the course of 14 weeks. This is something that you can plan ahead for, that you can probably fit into your schedule, providing, of course, that you also fit in enough practice into your schedule so that you keep your edge honed so that you can actually make it to the next round. But this is the kind of thing that excites me a lot. And we haven't actually talked about the players that we found out are on certain teams. Well, let's get into it right now. There are 2 notable European teams in Division S and 2 notable NA teams. This came via Tim Rizzo, writing over on Inven Global. Did not go look all this up on my own, so thank you to Tim Rizzo. But European teams, let's just start with the All-Star team, the team to watch, Kyle, which the team name is now Washed Up. And it has 2 players from Fnatic, 2 players from Team Liquid, and JPL from Dignitas.
That's pretty decent.
Yeah, Mene, SMX, Hasawabs, Eternal, JPL are all on a team together.
Those are fun.
Yeah.
The all-star team.
Yes. Yeah. And then the former Leftovers roster, with the exception of Diabe, is all playing together. The 5th player hasn't been confirmed anywhere I can find it, but Mobsio, Linked, Black Gitney, I've always had trouble pronouncing that one, and Potty Boss are all playing together in one of the European teams. And then over on NA, we have pretty much all of Team Freedom playing together. The big difference here is Hosty, who was recently on Simplicity, and also Cure, who is an older Team Freedom player. He left Freedom back in 2017, was recently on Endemic, but now he's joining some of his old roster mates for this new Division S team. And then we have also a bunch of LFM esports players all together on the same NA team.
It's fascinating to think what the barrier to entry was when we had HGC Pro Play as a full-time sort of stipend job, right? Like, these guys were committed full-time, locked in for a year, and things got stale. But there's very little infusion of new blood throughout a whole year when you have a system like this. Now, some guy has a slow Christmas and becomes the best Junkrat in the world. And he signs up for one of these, gets on a team. Bam, Junkrat changes overnight. All our talents we thought were great are wrong. That is so much more interesting, so much more possibility for entertainment in a system like this. Speaking positively, of course.
Right.
In this new world.
Obviously, more stability is better for the players.
Because the pro play would be elevated because it can be that level of refinement. We won't see that anymore.
Right. At least not for a while. Unless, if this takes off, one of these tournaments takes off, becomes a more regular event with more funding, it's certainly a possibility, even though it does seem like a long shot. But this seems so much more easily digestible to me, easier to get more people into it, again, from the kind of storyline aspect that we've talked about. I'm excited to watch this.
And there's a great analogy that I heard in my chat this week is it's like marathon running. Tons of people sign up for marathons, and whether or not they're good at it, they just love to try to play to see if they can participate. But if you got to that gate line and they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, professionals only," at every single one, not as many people would be into it, I assure you. It's not that thrilling watching too many people run.
Yeah. Yeah. And Cameron brings up a good point. This means they're also going to be on the live patch, which
That
always
is helpful.
It was always infuriating to me that every time I tuned into esports, I'm like, well, none of this means anything to me. Because
a weird forced world, right? Like there can be a situation where Blizzard maybe doesn't take notice, has something they really want to push out in the middle of a tournament. The server is down, perhaps, because the tournament server isn't being used for it. But I think at home, we would all appreciate to see Diablo doing what we know he's doing at home right now. It's such a disconnect and such a auto disinterest for me.
I'm hoping for both. I want to see things that I don't expect, like your anecdote about maybe there's just an amazing junker out there that kicks the door down, shows us we're all doing it wrong. I'd love to see that kind of thing, but I would also like to see some through lines drawn between what I'm watching happening in these tournaments and what I'm seeing in my games at home. You kind of find that middle ground. So I mean, it's obviously still so many questions, right? Like, we spent the first half of the show talking about our hopes and desires for the direction the Heroes team could take balance in the wake of a world with no Blizzard-backed Heroes of the Storm esports. What does that mean with community esports? What if this does take off? I mean, in my head, I feel if this really does find an audience and become sustainable, I think, of course, we're going to see some sort of balance changes supported by the developer team. Don't you think?
Absolutely.
So it's just an exciting time. It's strange to me. Obviously you and I are in what's the word I'm looking for? Unusual position, an uncommon position in that we do the show. We have a community built around it. A lot of folks that we talk to on a daily basis that still live and breathe Heroes of the Storm. Our personal experience, seeing as we do not cover esports typically on the show, hasn't really changed. This show has been mostly about playing the game, not watching it, and that's what we're doing. Hasn't really changed inside the game. We're still getting regular updates. Everything's fine. At least seems the same, more or less. And yet with these changes with HGC ending and everything, and looking at these community tournaments popping up, it feels like early wings of liberty to me all of a sudden.
Yeah. And to that note, if you never experience community-driven esports, grassroots esports as it's known, it's a little different. It's a bit slower. It's a bit more disorganized as we try to get that guy from buying a sandwich back into the studio. It's game time. He forgot. Be patient with this. The filler, downtime. These are words that are used frequently when we talk about grassroots, and it's going to be a little bit of a rough process.
I would like to pump those brakes a little bit and say, Kyle, just remember, I think it was the first BlizzCon HGC finals. They did have like a soundboard catch on fire, and there was like a 4-hour delay.
Oh, and a player shows up and he brought one of those green round mice holes because his home computer still supports whatever the hell this thing is instead of a USB.
Oh, you're trying to think the old oh my god, I forget what those were called. I know exactly the old school mouse hookup.
Yeah,
A mouse is green, keyboard was purple. Super long ago, they weren't even color coded.
And then you could get like a translator for it, an in-betweener at a certain amount. They don't make them anymore.
A PS2 connector. Thank you, Yadin and Echoes in the chat room.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Hey. And that could cause a 2-hour delay.
It could. All I'm trying to say is that sometimes being grassroots means you can also be a little more spry and adapt to certain things because you probably didn't have a giant expensive audio mixer in the first place to even catch on fire.
Right. And Home Story Cups were some of the most popular grassroots dudes sitting on a couch in a house.
They still do them.
Yeah.
They still freaking do them. They're some of the best Hearthstone tournaments you can watch. They're fantastic. And I believe they still do them for StarCraft. I just haven't watched them in a while. But Anyways, I'm stoked for all of this. We've got links to all of this in the show notes. If you've never checked out the show notes before, you head on over to amove.tv/ITN, and it's a link to our Google Docs, the actual Google Docs that we use to make the show. They're always linked at the bottom of the episode post. So for this one, look for episode 252 over at amove.tv/ITN. Now, Kyle, before we take a question or two and wrap this up, I do want to thank everyone out there who's supporting us over at patreon.com/ITN. We've said it before, and we're going to say it again. This is the way that we are supported. This is the best way to support the show. If you like what we're doing here, Kyle, you and I create content for a living. Do some other things, juggle all sorts of things. That's what you got to do. But we very much appreciate the support, everyone. So if you're out there, whether you're a new listener, an old listener, whatever the case is, please consider head on over to patreon.com/ITN and supporting the show for whatever you would like to support us with. This week, we want to thank some of our newer patrons. Thank you to Vic, no last name given. Thank you to Greg, no last name given. Also, thank you to Crusader Dave. Hey, I recognize that name from chat. And also, Truls U, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Truls U, last initial U. Thank you for your support, everyone.
Not only do they help make the show happen, they also help drive the community around the show. In fact, tonight is our patron bonanza. We load up in Team League. If you're not familiar with this, you should watch out for it, because this was an activity we started originally because Team League was silent. It was dead. So we would all, as ITN viewers, rush into Team League for the night and basically battle each other because no one else was in there. Now it's rather filled out. We rarely face another ITN squad, but really a fun time. Looking forward to playing with you all tonight. And check it out for the future if you're interested.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. Sign-ups usually go up the week before over at patreon.com/ITN. You also get access to the Discord where you can ask us questions directly in there. So just chat with other Into the Nexus patrons. It's a good place to hang out and also to find games. So we're going to see you tonight after the show, everybody. But for now, let's wrap this up with a question or two.
Darkness stopped calling.
Hold on. Darkness just texted me.
Okay, tell him I'm not here.
You can send your emails to itncast@gmail.com, or as we just mentioned, if you're a patron, drop a question in the question chat channel in the patron Discord. Crushinator did exactly that. Dropped this question in the patron Discord and said, hey, remember back in mid-2018 when they previewed the Viper skins? They zoomed out to someone/something punching the TV that was playing this preview. Do you think we're ever going to get closure or a continuation on that tease? I completely forgot about this.
Me too.
No. I mean, that looks like a 3D model. There's an arm with some type of metal brace on it. Is this just a skin that's already in the game and we just didn't notice?
I mean, it came with white mane. This was July 30th of 2018. We could revisit this sort of G.I. Joe world this summer.
I'm going to fire it up. There might be noise. No, sorry. Yeah, there's a little punch at the end there. I'm trying to see it in motion. Man, I don't know. To me, it looked like I know this kind of had almost like a G.I. Joe versus Cobra theme to it. But the punching of the screen reminds me of Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, very Inspector Gadget, Shredder, Joker with Michael Keaton. There's a lot of TV destruction in the late 80s.
That's a good way. That's a good way to put it. So it's not. I thought it might have been Stukov's arm. It's not. I'm looking at Stukov's non-mutant hand in the skin right now. That is not it. Yeah, Cal, this doesn't match up to any of the skins that were added, so it wasn't just an overlook. I don't know what this was.
There's a lot of threads that are unused when it comes to universes and lores in Heroes of the Storm, and I think these might all be gone for good. This is scary for some part, but also it was always kind of weird in a way part.
It was always true. It always felt kind of scattershot to me.
Because my thing, and I believe you were with this as well, is like we can go weird, we can do master hands, but I wanted to see Garrosh high-fiving Alarak in a cutscene like that.
Yeah, I just wanted to see the world smashed together. I wanted the battleground where half of it was like Warsong Gulch and the other half was Metropolis from StarCraft 2.
Yeah, just, odd friends, odd heroes teaming up. Who framed Roger Rabbit? Oh, Bugs Bunny and Mickey are together. How strange.
Yeah. Man, if those were the comics, I would buy comics of that. If it was just like weird Blizzard, I wanted Blizzard run fan fiction. Just Arthas is still alive and he's hanging out with Diablo because of course he is. Like, cool. Yeah. That'll move some issues. I would buy that immediately.
Yeah.
But instead they wrote about the Raven Lord and I don't care.
I mean, look at the sweaters they sell at Disney World with all the villains on them, Like, this isn't an exclusive video game product line. People just love seeing things lined up together that are the same.
Yeah.
It's the reason we like 5 and 10 as humans.
You mean numbers?
Yeah, we're just like, ooh, 5. Wow, what a pretty number. 25. Ooh, 1/4 of 100. Ooh.
You're just reminding me that we're about to hit episode 300 and Angry Chicken and I don't know what we're doing.
Right, well, exactly. And you're like, ooh, 300. And like, no one's like, ooh, 3-3. Well, 3-3-3 is kind of exciting.
Yeah, I'm like, we already did this twice. Ben Brode and Yang Wu aren't around anymore. Yang Wu had this running gag now where he would pretend he was doing 100 push-ups for the 100th episode and he did it again for the 200th. They're gone. We can't keep that going. I mean, maybe I could. I guess I could write them.
I hope we get to episode 323.
323?
Yeah, that'll be worth celebrating.
Why?
The error code.
Oh, error code. Oh, you're right. You're right. Oh, dude, with this game, it's definitely got a year, at least.
Oh, yeah.
At least.
Yeah. Well, we'll celebrate that one, all right?
We're definitely getting to 300. It's happening. It's happening. And then someone's going to play this when we pull the plug early.
Pod fading, man.
Something's going to happen. Daniel J. Newman says 666 is such a such a pretty number.
We just said 55, 111, just we like it.
Yep.
What can we say? Line them up. High fives all around.
We also got a question from Starbuck from the patron Discord who asks, why is everyone running double mage now? At least in gold and silver.
I'm with Starbuck. I don't have a great answer. My answer is don't take a repositioning tank. Arthas is okay if it makes sense for the enemy team. A Nubarak holds people still. But I constantly am seeing weird things like reposition Diablos on the front line with double mage, and you're out doing your business. Your mages are miles away. They missed their shots because you charged the thing off the pad. We haven't agreed on this meta, but it's happening around us. And it feels like it's just a first pick thing. Jaina. Well, I want Kael'thas. I want Orphea. We all picked at the same time. Nobody gets a right clicker. Nothing ever dies.
Yeah. I think, those KT and Jaina have just been in and out of fashion so many times that I feel like we all just were like, cool, they're good again, sweet. Win rates are looking good, I'm back on them. And right now they're just both excelling so damn well.
It's just so important to have that one guy that can just say, this is dying right now. I'm going to right click, you axe throw, bullet, double bullets, double crossbows. No one knows how they get reloaded. I guess we don't care. But then we end up with double bruiser, double mage, and just nothing works out the way it should. Unless you're winning, and well, then you won. It feels great. But like, it didn't really make sense, did it?
Yeah. Like Communard in the chat room wants to know how we punish it. How do you punish the double mage? Hey. Hey, everybody. I'm going to sound like a broken record. You know my answer, Kyle.
A Nubarak?
Yes, play a Nubarak. You can turn the tank off. You have inherent armor against the abilities of the double mages. What more do you need? You're basically rolling out a red carpet for your team to murder the mages.
Yeah. I mean, your shifties are going to do pretty well, like Falstad in those situations, because a big old hammer hit can just decimate that back line, and you're going to be able to reposition to pursue when they start walking away, because that's what mages do. They can only walk for the most part. Zul'jin, Raynor, they're not on the same angle as the rest of the team. Last thing you want to do is load up on melees like Thrall, who are going to have to, Wolf, they run all the way in, getting the blizzard, the living bomb, and the living bomb on the two tanks. Like, you gotta put some range on it. I've seen Hanzos go wild versus double mange because they simply don't care where you put a ground effect. They leap out of it and they even pursue.
Yeah. If you're like the thrall that never misses your wolf, I think you're okay. But most of us miss our wolves every now and then.
Yeah. And like I said, we're still like, there are so few dedicated, like, I'm Johanna guys, and everyone's like, ooh. It's like World of Warcraft. Oh, he plays tank, and it's his main. Like, they're so rare that you're going to end up with double bruiser often.
Yeah, passionate Johannas. That's a good point. Because I do really like Johanna, but I've played her enough that I'm bored with it now, and it's not proactive enough. Like, to me, playing a Nubarak is just so much more fun.
Sure.
But I do enjoy a Johanna, but you're right. I feel like for a lot of people, she's the Lily of tanks. It's like, we don't have a tank. I guess I'll Johanna.
It's very different when you have, Grandmaster number 6 Kerrigan in your game and you're Johanna, and you could be like, I'm peeling for a champ. I'm going to bust my buns. But go, go, go.
Yeah.
Just a cheerleader with CC.
Yep. So hopefully that explains it a little bit there, Starbuck. But I mean, we also talked a lot about Kael'thas last week in lower leagues.
Yeah, and like we said, I don't know particularly why it's tough to come up with. I think it's the double bruiser thing. Maybe if we go back to solo tank, we end up with too many angles and the mages aren't splash hitting everybody. It seems like that's what they're punishing, but they're also just really popular. Jaina, Kael'thas, Orphea, all early picks, and someone else on the team is likely to play one of those, so you're going to end up with 2.
Yeah. Anyways, keep the questions coming, everybody. Email us, itncast@gmail.com, or sign up to be a patron and get into our Discord and drop some questions there. Speaking of our patrons, thanks again for supporting us, everybody. If you want to check it out, it's patreon.com/ITN. The show is still free, always going to be, but if you'd like to chip in a buck or two, it's the best place to do so. While we're thanking folks, we'd like to thank our producers as well. Thank you, Declan H., Cheesy Bob, Pathagos, and Crusader Dave. Thank you for the generous support. If you want to rock an Into the Nexus t-shirt, I saw a new one very recently get posted to Twitter. You can head on over to shirts.amove.tv. We're typically live Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern over at twitch.tv/amovetv. Also, we're still clipping out shorter talks and adding visual aids over at youtube.com/amovetv. We would really appreciate it if you went over there and watched those videos and subscribed to the channel and gave them a thumbs up. And then maybe follow Kyle and I on Twitter at Garrett Art and at Kyle Fergusson, because maybe we're starting something new on YouTube and it might be on a new channel and we would love a rush of new viewers, but it's not quite ready yet, so I don't have a URL to give you.
Heck, you can ring bells, do whatever YouTube people do. We got to learn how to say those things, Garrett.
You got to get a vape rig and tell people to smash that like button and subscribe.
A vape rig?
Yeah, get a vape, man. You got a vape.
Wait,
you gotta wear a hat.
Like the nation?
No, like Vape Nation. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Hashtag Vape Nation. Smash that like button and subscribe.
It's really intense.
Follow me on the Facebook.
And most of those things are devices.
Yes, that's how you do it. You wear sunglasses and a snapback hat that you didn't bend the bill of, and that's how you do it, right?
I got public transit. I can abuse some people here while filming it.
Yeah. You got to ring the bell. For notifications. I don't do that. I've been consuming a lot of YouTube. I like to support my YouTube creators. I subscribe. I always like the videos. I don't need notifications. I got enough things buzzing me in my life.
I also just open my YouTube and see the numbers of videos that I've missed over the 2 weeks I forgot they exist, and then go watch them all in one big pile.
That's great. I love when I forget about channels. Yeah, I have so much more to watch. Anyways, that's going to wrap it up for the show. Kyle, where can everybody find you when you're not doing Into the Nexus?
You can find me over at twitch.tv/Kyle Fergusson, where I'm playing Heroes of the Storm Tuesdays and Wednesdays in the ranked play. Also, you can find me occasionally on the launcher if you're playing Heroes of the Storm. Just right there when you play the game. There's a picture of me and Kristen, the hosts, on my channel, playing the game, having a good time. Check it out.
I'm Garrett Art on Twitter. All the podcasts I do are at amove.tv, including this one. Got a new Angry Chicken coming for you on Tuesday. I'll be on the Instance tomorrow. It's not my show, but you can go listen to it. And I'll have a new R2-T2 up very soon, so go find that. Also, everybody, I just updated my graphic design portfolio. It's finally got some new stuff on there, and by new stuff, I mean stuff I may have done over the past 2 years, because that's how long it's been since I updated it. But head on over to nomoonart.com to see my graphic design portfolio, and if you need a graphic designer, there's a contact form right on there. It goes right to my inbox, and I'll get in touch with you and let you know what my schedule's like. Please let me know your deadline. Thank you. That's going to wrap it up for the show. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back next week for episode, what are we on now? 253 of Into the Nexus.
Ugly number. Hideous number.
Yeah, hideous. 2, a 5, and a 3. Get out of here. Yeah. But until then, good luck and have fun.
Take care.